My favorite protocol, and the one I use a lot, is really what I call a quantum field protocol. And it's using the laser first and foremost as a tool, as a way to open the quantum field. For me, that is the biggest way that I use the laser. And to me, any dis-ease to me is lack of quantum field. So if someone has pain, if someone comes to me and they have pain, it tells me that the quantum field is shut down. Someone comes to me with an autoimmune condition, depression, migraines. The quantum field is tight, it's contracted. And so whatever the situation that I'm working with, always my goal is the same. I want to unwind, invite whatever I'm working with to dissolve, to unwind, and to open and come back to the quantum field. And I'm sharing this. I don't often share this. I usually, for folks that have been to the introductory, that have done the intro work with the laser, this is a kind of, it's a different way of working with people. So when I work with people, my number one directive, my goal when I work with people is to stay first and foremost in my field. In Cabos, the whole weekend, everyone walked around like this. And that's okay, you can do it here. Give the cigar smoker something to reflect on, to ponder. Really, if it helps, go slow. When you walk around, when I walk through, I go slow. When I walk into a room, I go slow. Why? If you go really fast, everybody here knows how to walk from point A to point B. You go like this. When we're walking from the quantum field, there's no point B. Walk as though you're there. Go slow. When I walk into a room, I want to arrive in the room slowly, so my field is intact. When I work with people from the quantum field, my goal is to help induce whatever's going on here to open and dissolve. And the easiest way to do that is if your field is opened. It's in this language. Contraction, unwinding, open. Well, you interact with someone in pain, they're in contraction. So you can go in there and say, oh, I can fix you, I can heal you, let's do this, let's do this. Or you can go in there and say, hi, how you doing? And just pull back a little bit. Let whatever's going on here start to unwind. So when I'm using the laser, that's my goal. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to unwind. And as we do this, here's what I want you to do. From your quantum field, it's not even so important. The key is just to have the laser in the quantum field. Just to check in. I just want you to check in with your field and kind of just tune in to what is the effect that's happening right now. As you use the laser. Not even so important where you're doing it. When I put a laser on and I have it in my field, I'm totally comfortable that every cell in my body is getting it. Because from my perspective, the field governs the body. Field governs the body. Just like in your home, if you have Wi-Fi and you get the right signal, your computer is going to work. From my perspective, if the field is nice and open, this system's going to work. The cells, everything that's designed here. And so if I have a laser and it's on, it's in my quantum field, I'm totally comfortable. So as I do unwind right now, can everyone feel that rhythm? Where the body is kind of going like this. It feels just like that rhythm we were doing earlier, doesn't it? Kind of feels like the body is going like this. And then dissolving. Dissolving. That's unwind. Unwind is designed to do exactly that, to unwind. While we're doing this for a moment, I'm just going to unwind my adrenals. At different points, I might do a couple of different things. When I go a free-form process with the laser, I'll often start with my field, and I'll just kind of start to unwind the field. Then I might go to different points without a set process. I don't usually go over this at intro events. I usually stay on unwind protocol, organ balance protocol. Yet often when I work with my body, I start off, I open up the field, and then I go from the field to see where we're going. Where we're going. And for me, I just went to the adrenals. All right, that's the unwind program. Feels good though, huh? Tell you, this is why I keep it simple. Unwind program is the frequency of planet Earth. 7.83 hertz, the Schumann resonance. It's also that the Schumann resonance happens to be part of that galactic wave rhythm. So things that are like this, unwind, says to them, unwind. Our planet Earth, the atmosphere, the space around our planet. When the body is relaxed, it's open. The cells are open, absorbing the energy around us. Babies come here to the planet, they're here, they're totally open. Their cells are open, their fields are open. They're absorbing oxygen. Oxygen is energy, it's fuel. As people go through life, they get some injury, some emotion, some stress, and the cells shut down. They shut down. Well, putting unwind over it says, let's open, let's unwind. Yoo-hoo. Second program we're going to do is quantum. Quantum is just like still point. As you feel that, what do you feel with quantum? Doesn't it just feel kind of open? Like being home. That's right. It feels just like the quantum field. As I put it on, I don't feel that rhythm anymore. Quantum just feels like everything's open. Just opens things. It's great for clearing blocked energy and emotion. Quantum's a great one. You put it in the field, you just shine it around. Anywhere you want to clear the field, open the field. Quantum's a great one for anyone dealing with pain. Often I use quantum a lot if I'm doing a demonstration. Someone comes with a knee injury or a shoulder or a neck. Put quantum on, it works really nice. Great for balancing the chakras. Often I'll do that same process we did earlier where I worked on the sacrum. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm putting it right over in the front on the pubic bone, over the pubic bone. This feels really good. Pubic bone is the front of the sacral area. When the pubic bone opens, energy flows along the spine. Quantum is really good for facial rejuvenation. It's a great program to do on the thymus gland. You ever feel like you're coming down with a cold? You ever feel like you're coming down with a cold? Or a little bit wrung out? Thank you, Enid. It's one of ours. What? Yeah, yes, certainly. Thymus. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. So quantum opens and expands things. Again, same thing in the process we were talking about today, earlier. Unwind things, then we open them. All right, that's quantum. Great for doing chakras. Great program. You ever go in a hotel, energy feels a little funky, put it on quantum. Quantum is good over the food, over water. Just like opening your field. Third program, relieve. That feels good too. Relieve is really good for people who are dealing with a lot of pain, stress, insomnia, depression. Anyone? I often go through easy 4-part protocol. If someone comes and I unwind, I do quantum, I do Pleo or Vital or Unity or Wave, and they don't unwind on anything, I next go to Relieve, because Relieve works really good at opening up neurotransmitter pathways. Really good on the brain, on the temples. Really good for anyone who's dealing with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. We had a really adorable man recently come for a session in California who had Parkinson's. And he was shaking as I gave the session, shaking and shaking. Well, I did everything, unwind, quantum, Pleo, Vital, until suddenly I said, well, let's try Relieve. So I put Relieve on. As soon as I put Relieve on, he began to unwind. He stopped shaking, started to take big breaths. Next program, Pleo. Take a moment. Feel what it feels like in your field right now. Pleo is a really good pick-me-up kind of program. Really good for the blood. It's designed to clean up the blood. You feel like you're coming down with something or you're not feeling great. Pleo's nice. Feel like you get a long drive and you're a little bit... Pleo kind of energizes the blood. It cleans up the blood. Can't tell you how many people come, they have injuries, back injuries, knee pain, bulging discs. I put them on Pleo and they unwind. Pleo's good program, good house cleaning. It's like a house cleaning program. Next one, Activate. Activate. Take a moment, turn it on, and just keep it in your field at first. A lot of people I work with, when I first turn the laser on, especially folks that are having a lot of health challenges, or young folks, or elderly folks, when I turn the laser on, I often bring it into their field first. And I just let it kind of start to acclimate. When I work on my own body, I'll often turn the laser on for a moment and just check in with the field. Just right away, like I right away turn it on. Activate feels good today. Activate to me kind of goes into things, and it activates with energy, and it kind of ripens. This is like for me a ripening program. Anyone feel that? Anyone feel that kind of effect where it kind of feels like it's kind of opening? It's a really good program. I don't discuss this a lot initially when we go around and we do. Yeah, this is a program I use on my body a lot. It's great for working along the spine, energy along the spine. You can put this right at the root. Right at the base, right at the perineal area. This is really good for people with major spinal cord injuries. What Activate does is it doesn't stimulate. It's a different principle than stimulating. Activate is like the neutral effect, principle of stimulating. Great to do over the sacrum. Could do over organs. Over the field. Anyone else feel good with that one? I should probably keep going, but it feels good, so I'm going to stop for a moment. Very powerful to do sessions off the body. The scalar effect is what's affecting the field. Underneath. All right, this is Activate. It's an alchemy program. I'm going to touch on, over this weekend, 3 or 4 programs that I don't normally cover. This is one of them. There are 3 or 4 programs that, to me, are like the alchemy programs. Activate is one of them. When we go around and do seminars, I often don't bring that stuff up right away. I want people to stay. Most people come, they have a health challenge, they have an injury. We want to keep them on the basics. Unwind, quantum, Pleo, vital, unity, wave. All right, that's Activate. Next one, Rejuve. Rejuve is also an alchemy program. Rejuve is based on some research we did years ago with some frequency work. Rejuve is designed to activate high-spinning electrons. And you can feel, tune into it. For me, I can feel it's like kind of have this, it has this kind of whoosh, high spinning effect. Can you feel that a little bit? Feels good, yeah? Very good for the lymph system. Particularly good for lymph. I often use Rejuve over the liver. Excuse me, some organ over here, the spleen. You can tell when you're on the program when the brain thinking faculty stops. Really, I go through life, everyone's into thinking on this planet. I go through life, when thinking stops, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. What the real is here. This thing over here, the spleen, I often do rejuve over the spleen. You want to activate your lymph, activate your spleen. And that feels wonderful. Isn't that nice? This is important for you to have a real comfort with each of the programs in this section. If you're real comfortable with these, when you're working with people, you'll get cued into the right. Just stay in your field and it'll be like, oh, let's try this. I tell you, the thing that, for emissaries here, the people buy lasers when they see the things that they've been struggling with. People have been dealing with back pain for like 3 months, and you help dissolve it in a matter of minutes. That's when people start to say, well, what is that and how do I get one? Really? It's power in shifting spaces. That's really all we're doing, is we're just shifting. Something is locked in this dimension, we just collapse it, dissolve it. You feel like you're coming down with something? Activate your tip of the nose. There's no faster way to activate your lymph and your blood. I came across this high-powered medical laser online. They say it can purify the blood. They have these lasers that go right in the nose. And the person uses it for, 15 minutes. And all the blood moves through here, and it laser cleans the blood. That sounds good to me. Rejuve. Ooh, that feels particularly good today, doesn't that? Everything feels, it's like when you really open the field. I tell you, the laser, we designed it doing this with the field. This is how we designed this. Trying this until we felt the effect. Oh, that's nice. Rejuve's a good one to do over different areas if you want to activate the glands. I don't start people on Rejuve until they've unwound a bit. If people have a lot of this going on and you go to activate more height of this, electrons in the body, to me, define health, is electron spin. If people, in electrons, you have 3 or 4 different states in the universe. You have solid, electrons spin slow. You have liquid, they go faster, they turn to liquid. They go faster, they turn to gas. If they go really fast, they turn into plasma, ether, what alchemists call the 4th state. Well, everywhere in the universe, there's one of those things happening. There's huge nebula, there's huge gas clouds, there's all these different states of energy based on the electron spin. In my life, I want to have a lot of high-spinning ether. 99.99999% of the universe is all the high-spinning ether, plasma. So if your electrons are all discordant and like this, you experience physical. If they go into a high-spin state, you start to be like a conduit. You tuned in to the ether. Well, this program is designed to get that high-spin state back so energy can flow through. This is a great program to do up around here. Why? This chakra here, the 5th chakra, in the East they call this the chakra of space, of ether. You got the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and then ether, the 5th element, the neutral element. I tell you, you want to really activate your system, work on this area, activate the ether in your body, which is lymph. My view of ether, lymph, is there's many high-spin ether things in the body. The white matter in the brain, high-spinning electrons. Cerebral spinal fluid, high-spinning electrons. sexual fluids, high-spinning electrons, lymph, and most importantly, the glands and the sacred essence, high-spinning electrons. So the more high-spinning electron activity, it's often called in the alternative world monoatomic elements, or ormus, white powder of gold, mana. Native cultures called it starfire. This is the substance, philosopher's stone. Alchemists refer to this high-spinning My biggest attraction to lasers, one of my biggest attractions, is how we can use lasers to affect that high spin condition. To me, health is entirely based on the electron spin. Entirely. That is the underlying essence to health. Yogis, if you have a lot of things going on, the electron spin slows down. That's why yogis, mystics, they don't want any of the things. They say, no, thank you. No. They don't even want food. They don't even want a bowl. Someone says, Yogi, who are you? They say, I don't know. Where do you come from? Somewhere. Because those things, every one of those things sets up a bunch of other things. And if there's things, if you're someone, you came from here, you do this, all those things then have a myriad of other things. And then there's emotions with the things, and then there's beliefs with the things. Before you know it, there's all this, and the electron spin. So the more you dissolve those things, neutrality, the electron spin starts to kick in. Electron spin kicks in, and that activates us to start to flower, to ripen. So for me, when I use the laser, first thing, unwind, clear stuff. Then I try to fine-tune to activate. There's enough energy in a pinprick of space. Ton of energy right here. Tons of it. You can blow up a lot of stuff with it. Consider how much energy in the entire space of your body. Huge, unlimited energy right here. Only thing between us and that energy is all these different things. You dissolve those things, this energy starts to open. Starts to come out in your lymph system, in the plasma in your blood, in the white matter, energy along the spine, your bones, your teeth, crystals. All this stuff is high-spinning, designed as cosmic. These bodies are designed like they're totally far out. Hair, silica. Often you can go with Rejuve's a good one if you want to activate, the crystals in your body, over the teeth, over the bones, the hair. Activate these things. We unwind, and then let's say, we want to keep neutrality flow and activate these crystalline structures in the body. That's good. Soothe. Soothe's a good program. Take a moment and kind of tune into it. What's nice about it, I'll tell you what I like about it. When you we were activating. And to me, activating is one condition. Soothe kind of brings it down, but it keeps neutrality in place. So it keeps the field intact. That's different than stimulate. When you stimulate something, you get ramped up. What we want to do is whatever different thing we're doing, so long as the quantum field stays intact, Soothe kind of keeps a nice, and yet the field is nice and open also. It's a nice program. Particularly good for someone who's had some real strong, whether it's major injury, major loss, major change. Soothe kind of just brings it down in a way that's comfort. Unwind, can also when there's a major thing like that, but it kind of unwinds it. And occasionally people need to come down a little slower. And so that's when soothe is good. Does that make sense? And when someone in that kind of situation, you can just put it on and have it nearby. We often talk about the laser, yet I often don't share in intro work. The quantum fields that this sends out is really powerful. For me, if I'm in a room, if I'm nearby a laser, I can tell it's on. It clear as day, my field. I can tell I'm near a laser, there's one on. Even in our house, I could be in a totally different part of the house. If someone's using the laser, clear as day, I can feel it. It's like my field, you can feel a little breeze. Kind of opens. And that's the scalar part. There's no distance in scalar. Nice. Let's probably use this one more often. All right, that's unity. Unity to me it's one of my favorites. Take a moment and tune in. Sphenoids, great to unwind the sphenoids. Lasers, really powerful. Again, we don't get into this too much initially. On the body, great for injuries. On the field, it's like homeopathy. The further off the field, it's actually more powerful to the field. Similar principle to homeopathy. So unwind to me is like it weaves things together. It kind of invites things to come together so they can, it's a lot like the energy along the spine. Nice program. Really good if there's emotional stuff going on. If you go to unwind and you're not unwinding and you just had some issue with a person or something, put unity on. It's really fast because it just unifies everything so things dissolve. If there's a major situation going on, major stress, major emotion, unity works really good. It brings it all together and shifts. Really good with the violet probe. I often do unity. And good on its own also, just with the main unit. It's nice. You see, there's a beautiful principle that happens when things cooperate. One of the key things that we're getting on this planet, and it's got to do with synergy. There's a lot of energy lost when things are polarized and in different kind of references. When things come together, and this has actually been proven in the electron, when the electron spin is still polarized, the electrons spin like this. When electrons go into a monoatomic or a high-spin electron, what's called a Cooper pairing, or a monoatomic state, electrons start to share and they generate tons of energy. So you can have different elements that when they go into that high-spin state, you can't tell the difference. They're all working together in this new unity principle. Well, unity kind of does that. Unity brings things together and unity, I guess, says it all probably. All right, next program, Vital. Vital is great program for energizing. It kind of simultaneously energizes things, hence the name Vital, and it also activates high-spinning tetraozone and aron, which is actually oxygen's O2, ozone's O3, O4 higher, and it turns into aron. In other words, they're nonlinear states of oxygen. And this program is designed to activate that intercellular, really ether. It's really ether. It's oxygen in an ether state. And I say that because to me that's so important. You know, everyone on planet Earth is so accustomed to oxygen being this linear thing. And yet everything in this plane, in this planet, is intrinsically oxygenated. In other words, there's high spinning states of oxygen which are inside of you. That oxygen's in you. Which is why in still point, you rest in still point and you're inviting oxygen to emerge. You don't need oxygen to pull out. You don't need linear oxygen so much. Yet they've done studies. They find that when yogis are sitting in a state like this, and they compare them to someone doing exercise or running, the yogi is actually absorbing. They have more oxygen in their cells than the person who's intaking more oxygen. Which is why in stress, in challenge, drop to still point. You open up all the oxygen that's in you. Every cell is loaded with high-spinning oxygen. Plasma. Does that make sense? So this program is designed to kind of fuel that, induce that. Really good over organs, if you want to detox organs. Some people I put this on dealing with degenerative discs. I can't tell you how many people, degenerative discs, I put this on and they start breathing. They start unwinding. People dealing with arthritis, I put this on, they start breathing. A lot of people with psychological conditions put this on. There's a direct link to psychological conditions in different strains of bacteria. Really good on the organs. Great. All right, that's vital. The energizers, too. It's fantastic for the lymph system. This is a little bit of a different approach to the lymph than Rejuve. Vital is more cleansing to the lymph, as opposed to activating with Rejuve. Good for heavy metals. Some people with heavy metals or lots of toxicity, or someone who's been eating a meat diet for a lot of years. Wants to clean out the system from homocysteine and various other things they add to meat. Really good program. If you feel like you're coming down with something, use this. Activate the thymus, activate the tip of the nose. You feel like just moving around and working lymph. Just activate lymph all over. Down around the pelvic area, the groin area. There's tons of lymph in here in the colon. Feels nice, huh? Up around the cranium. Tons of lymph up here. I've had people I worked on having asthma, major asthma. I just put Vital on. They start to breathe. They start to unwind. Next one, Cohere. Cohere. Put Cohere on for a moment and just tune in for a moment. Oh, that's nice, huh? I'm just going to set it down for a moment. Cohere, some of these programs are a little different than the older ones. We modified in the new essentials. So if you have an older laser and you put Cohere on, it's a little different. A bunch of them are a little bit different. The newer ones, we fine-tuned a little bit. Cohere is a really good alchemy program. I use Cohere. It's great for opening up the subtle energy. It opens up the chakras. It brings things together and opens them. Opens up the crown. Nice program to use. The thymus gland. Great for working on the whole field. As I'm going through, what am I doing? I'm just going to each chakra. And as I reach each chakra, I often do this. When I'm working the field, I'll go to a chakra. I did this one. Now I'm here at the third chakra. And I kind of come in and until I kind of feel it kind of go like this. And then it starts to open up into the field. And I might go, open it up. It's a nice program. Some of these are new and enhanced. Little chakra behind the occipital ridge called the Alta chakra. Anything, literally anything in the body. Could be an injury, could be an organ. When I work from the quantum field, I'm just going to that area, finding the program and inviting it to open back into the quantum field. My view is if there's anything in here, I want it to basically be there, working, and also be open in neutrality. If something's working, but it's not open in neutrality, well, that's good that it's working, yet for me, I want it working and opened up into the quantum field. If it's working on its own, well, then it's just working on its own. If it's working and it's in the quantum field, then it's working in partnership with everything else that's opened in the quantum field. Does that make sense? So this is a really good program, particularly for folks that have done this a while more advanced. This is a quantum field program. It's not even really medical. It's not a medical approach. We're not even barely working on the body. It's the same thing we did earlier with our perception, only now we're using the laser. That's Cohere. Often I'll do at the base. A lot of the alchemy protocols I do where the scalar energy along the spine. In fact, let's do that for a moment. Just let the energy coming up the right side. There's two waves that come up the spine. There's scalar wave. In the East, they call them nadis. The Western medical symbol has its picture of it. That's a scalar wave. Comes right up the body. Wherever it intersects, positive, negative. Intersects, neutrality. Positive, negative. Intersects, neutrality. That's what opens up these chakras. When these two currents are strong and balanced, positive, negative, right, left part of the brain opens the frontal lobe. If the entire waveform is balanced and strong, it opens up the field. You want to have your field stay open and strong, make sure both of these currents are strong. The first one comes up the right side of the leg, weaves up, comes to the right nostril. On the right nostril, we go to the left side of the cranium. Left lobe. So many people live in one side of their brain. Well, that's the current that's strong, that's on. I joke in our seminars, I say, most people in our society, they have one side on and they're lucky if they have a partner who has the other side on. And I'm partially joking, and the goal is to have both currents on. If one side's on, people flip polarity in the brain constantly. Keeps people in linear. This scalar waveform, the medical symbol, it's an ancient alchemy symbol. It's a key. To me, it's a key. It's a key that has been passed down through the ages as a key to how to access this whole experience. Not certain if the medical industry is aware of that. Probably, maybe not. Probably, hopefully. They probably are. It's a perfect representation to health. True health. So from the left side, we're going to come up again. Into the left nostril. People feel good with cohere? Does it feel good? Ah, that feels really good. From the left side, we're going to go over to the right side. And both of these open. Opens the frontal lobe. Part of why I do the tip of the nose a lot, to me, I've done a lot of this work opening these currents. And to me, when the tip of the nose is open, for me, when I do the tip of the nose, I immediately feel the energy of these nadis, this energy flow up along the spine. I often will go around too, if I have something going on or there's a little stress, I just activate, there's a little chakra here. Yogis talk about a little chakra at the tip of the nose. When it opens the energy along the spine, opens the heart, opens the pineal, pituitary. Key point right at the tip of the nose. You want to do some healing with your DNA? Open the quantum field up. Maybe there's been some stuff from your lineage, whether it's some pattern or some situation. It's all right. Open the quantum field, open up this screen, put DNA in there. Put the DNA from the concerned area you have. As it's there, welcome it. As it unwinds into still point. See how easy, how the quantum field, you can use it for anything. Anything you can come up with. We have tools to help work with. Wave. Put wave on for a moment and just kind of check in. Wave's nice. Wave, I often say it's kind of like a combination of unwind and quantum, but it's not. It's not a combination of them at all. Yet it has an effect like it is. It's a completely different wave structure. To me, it's really good. I've always used wave as kind of a way to take the whole field and kind of unwind it and expand it more. Kind of gently. Really good program. I use it a lot. It's one of the programs I use right up there next to Unwind, Quantum, Wave, Unity. Those are programs I use a lot. Over the organs. You know, the more you've done Unwind protocol, organ protocol, if you've done them a lot, it's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. If you've done it a lot, if you've never done it, it might take a while to unwind the organs. If you've done that work and unwound the organs a bunch, for me, when I do a quantum field session and I open, it doesn't take long. I can go to the organ and it's easy to unwind it. Because we've done it a lot. It's like any other muscle. If you go and work out a lot, well then when you go and work out, it's easy. If you don't work out a lot, you work out, you're in pain for 2 weeks. I often do unwind starting at the base and just pulling energy up the spine. This is our Lotus protocol. Just start at the base, really just open up the whole base. I tell you, a lot of people, their base is they're completely avoiding. Anyone who's got depression, anyone who's not having a great experience in life, low energy, open up their base. If the base is open, people are comfortable here on the planet. If the base is shut, open up the lotus. For me, when this lotus, the reason I do this is not because I want to have a big lotus here. It's because when I do it, I feel that bliss nectar start to happen. So I didn't say, well, let's do lotus. I used to do this, and as I did this, I'd go like this, and it opened. So try it. See if it has that effect. Then I often go around and I look, is there anywhere else in the body that I want to bliss into a lotus? Maybe there's a challenge you've been dealing with, or an organ that's been a little bit of a challenge, or an injury. That's all right. Let's have fun with it. Let's just play and say, hey, maybe around the whole body. I look at it as though we're nourishing this lotus, this flower, and then the flower has the fragrance, and now we're going around and saying, sharing to the areas that want it. We're not pushing it or anything. We're just saying, hey, let's share this essence. Around the body. If I'm in a space, I often do in a room or a hotel. Now, I'm not going around trying to heal everyone. My view is people are going to stay where they are if that's where they are. I never try to heal or help anyone really ever. I try to condition the space. If I'm in a space and I'm going to be there, I just assume have it opened up with subtle energy, with neutrality. Otherwise, I got to deal with all the emotion that everyone else wants to be dealing with. So it's either we deal with their emotion and stuff or thinking, or we say, hey, but that's not saying to them they can't do what they want to do. You all do everyone does what they do, and I just say, well, I'm going to drop into neutrality. It's a slight thing, yet a lot of New Age healers go around and they're healing, trying to fix everyone. Well, from my perspective, everyone's been along that journey. People are where they are because that's where they need to be right now. I totally respect that. Yet, I feel very dedicated to always inducing a state of neutrality. And I trust fully that everyone comes from that neutrality, and everyone who wants it's going to jump right in. Very subtle reference, yet from my perspective, huge. Because you go and try to fix other people and stuff, and if you help them, that's great, yet if they haven't learned how to do the fix too, they're going to have some other issue. Stay in neutrality. Invite them to dissolve and so that's wave. When I finish up, I almost always go over the thymus. That's a good session. That's a sample kind of free-form session. What did we do? We covered a lot. I did some adrenal unwind. I went over the organs a little bit. I did some lymph in the spleen. Did some more things. The scalar, we did the scalar weave. We did the flower, lotus. little DNA, little field, and finish up on the thymus, tip of the nose, and the field. Everyone from right here, drop into your field. A good laser session for me always arrives me right here. In fact, that's the biggest thing I love about the laser. I use it and I end up here. To me, that's like total treasure. And just rest here a moment. You know, when you do a good session, you've done some good cultivating. So bathe in that. Don't jump right up and go on to the next thing. Take a moment, own that, because you created that. That's you. You've done that work. Yeah, the laser helped a little bit. Yet you're the one from your quantum field that opened this, that flowered this. So rest here. Let the energy flow along the spine. You may feel the tongue go to the roof of the mouth. You may feel that little rhythm pulse at the root, like a root. Pulse. And then drop it right into the space between the pulse. Energy flow along the spine. Rest to bathe. Nectar. And out into the field. This is like equity. When you have a good session, you'll see in my life, whether I do quantize, whether I do a laser session, whether I do a still point quantum field session, I always, at the end of it, we did some good stuff, and I always rest in what I cultivated. To me, that's what I bring into the next situation I go into the world. It's like fueling up. Is that helpful to go through the programs? Does that have a good sense of what each of them are? Good, that was good. That was nice. That was fun.